everybody, welcome back. I just actually got home from California. I was visiting for my friend's birthday. She flew me out there, thank you so much. So on the plane, I of course had plenty of time to read because what else would you do on a plane? And so I finished a book. So today we are going to be discussing What I Thought Was True by Huntley Fitzpatrick. Please excuse my voice, it is slightly scratchy. That is because I'm slightly sick. Slightly. I'm not really sick, my voice just decided you're sick, so I'm sick today, apparently. Also, please excuse my very loud refrigerator in the background. It's making that airy white noise sound. It's annoying, I'm sorry. I don't know why it sometimes decides to turn on. Anyway, What I Thought Was True is basically this book about this girl named Gwen, and she lives on this island and her family is really poor. I mean, not like really poor, but her family is pretty poor. She has this brother who's not really autistic, but he has some sort of mental problem, so there's those bills. She's always working, and she spends every single summer working this job with her family, with her dad at this place. It's like a restaurant. So she has this past with this boy named Cassidy, Cass for short. She has sort of this mysterious past with him. Something happened. You don't really know what happened, but something happened there. And Cassidy is this rich boy, and he happens to be working a summer job because his parents are trying to teach him a lesson for something. So he's also working a job, and of course you just know they're gonna hit because they're both working jobs, and you get to learn about the mysterious past between these two characters. Okay, so if you have not read the book, please leave now unless you want to be spoiled, because now I'm going to start spoiling this book. I would say it's probably, I mean, it wasn't amazing, especially compared to her other book, My Life Next Door. I like that one definitely more, but it is still a good book. So I would recommend it, so don't spoil it right now. If you haven't read it, leave now, okay? Leave, 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 leave. Everyone here has read it, yes? Good. I kind of had a problem with this book just because it was so choppy. Like, maybe that was because I read it like in one go, you know, really quickly, and so my brain was like exploding, taking in all the information. But I feel like this book was extremely choppy in some cases. Not the whole book, but I've noticed it more at the end. Once again, that could just because my brain was exploding, but like I'll try and explain it. So okay, there's this part in the book, I don't know where it is. Gwen is laying on the couch with her dog or her mom or her brother or someone, laying on the couch inside, when she notices that Nick is outside smoking a cigarette, and suddenly she's just outside smacking it out of his hand. There's no, she doesn't write the transition of her walking over to the door. She's just suddenly there. Or like a character will ask something and then they won't answer, but then they'll like know the answer. Or like there'd be pages not in a row, but just like a page or like a couple paragraphs in this book where I was just so genuinely confused. I had no idea what was happening because it was just jumping around so much, especially when Vivian and Gwen are talking about Nick, and she's talking about like, oh, I'm worried about him, I think he's on drugs, you know, blah 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 blah. Gwen knows that he is not on drugs. Like, yeah, she's not gonna tell Vivian that she knows that, but she knows he's not on drugs. And there's this full page of her thinking like, he wouldn't be on drugs, no, he wouldn't do that, but like, you know the reason, why are you thinking this? And then there's all those pages where she's thinking about her life, if she didn't have Emery because she has to take care of him all the time, or like with me, like they just confused me. Maybe it was just me, but I was very confused throughout this book. At random points, the choppiness, the random, it just jumped around. It was kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Did anyone else notice this? Was it just me? Am I going insane? I just like, there would be moments like at the end. Okay, this part at the very end. At the end, where when Nick shows up and Gwen is hanging out with Cass and Spencer, and Nick is just pissed off because Cass and Spencer got captain and co-captain of the swim team, and he's yelling at them. Number one, weren't they already captain and co-captain? Wasn't he competing for that? I'm pretty sure they were already captain and co-captain, and also it's the summer, so how did they get the position if it's not during school? Number two, they never showed that they never showed the audition, the trying out, the whatever for it. They just like suddenly they were captain and co-captain. It made zero sense. Just he was suddenly so angry for no reason, which was also not very like Nick to do. He was a very likable character. He was in fact one of my favorite characters in this whole entire book, and then at the very end he turned into this total jerk. He wasn't like in a gradual, you know, he started very nice and then he got very bad and it was gradual. No, like it literally just like suddenly he was a total jerk and he just hated everyone and he was sad and it made no sense to me. Where did it come from, you know? Like, I guess it's supposed to be a plot twist, but like it wasn't really. Speaking of plot twists, okay, I kind of totally saw the whole Vivian Spencer thing coming, because when Gwen was walking on the beach at night and she saw those two people making out or whatever on the beach, I thought it was Nick and someone else because he was thinking about what would it be like without Vivian, you know, sort of thing. So I was thinking, oh, Nick is cheating on Vivian with someone else. But no, it was Vivian cheating on Nick with Spencer. So I was kind of right. I kind of saw it coming. I mean, it kind of seemed obvious to me. This book, like, it wasn't very good. Like, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad. Like, I did enjoy it. I read it very quickly, so obviously I couldn't have hated it. But I feel like it didn't have as much charm as her other book, which I very much so enjoyed. It was very, very good. And I mean, honestly, that could just be me. Maybe everyone else likes this book. I just personally think it wasn't as good. I loved her little brother. Very cute, Emery. I loved him. I loved how he was, you know, always following them around, always with her. Very adorable. How he learned to swim, that was so cute. I wouldn't understand what it's like to have, I mean, even a brother. I don't even have a brother, but like an autistic, he's not autistic, but you know, almost, they don't really know what's wrong with him, like sort of brother. Like I wouldn't know what that would feel like just because I've never had any experience with it. It was interesting to read how someone's life would be different just because of that. Another thing that confused me, okay, so her grandpa speaks Portuguese in the book, and sometimes they translated it, and then sometimes I used my very crappy knowledge of Spanish to slightly, you know, translate, make the connection. Oh, that's what it means generally. There would be times where they didn't even translate it at all and you were just left wondering, what did they say? What did he say? What are they, how are you supposed to know? Are you supposed to Google it yourself? I mean, sometimes I do that, honestly. But normally they explain it later in the book, so then I'm like, oh, I don't have to Google that. They never explain anything. Like, he just talks in Portuguese and I'm confused. This book confused me a lot. I didn't think it was gonna confuse me this much, but I'm just generally confused by it. I'm not mad at it. I'm just confused. I basically did like all of the characters. I feel like we didn't really get enough description or, you know, explanation on like Spencer and Alex. Hoop, I think Hoop was his name. Like all these other people that seem very relevant. You know, they're in the same class, they hang out together. Vivian ends up dating Spencer. There's all this stuff, but like you don't really get a good explanation of who they are, what they're like. You know, they're kind of just there. They're kind of just thrown in. I still don't even know who Hoop is, but I feel like he's relevant because he hung out with them like 3 times. You just didn't get a good explanation of the characters that weren't the main characters. You got a good one of like Vivian, Nico, Gwen, Emery, like all those you got like a nice description of, and it was very good, I think, but like you didn't get enough to like fulfill what you needed to know about these other characters. Another thing I was kind of confused about, generally confused, not like majorly confused, was just kind of how she wrote in the flashbacks of how she was with these other guys. She was with Alex, she was with Spencer, she was with Cass, and she was with like some other guy, I think like freshman year or something, but you never get that story. I don't think you get the story of Alex either. She just runs into him at the wedding rehearsal and then he's embarrassed and leaves. You get the story about Spencer and you get the story about Cass, but not in order, which I guess makes sense because you're wondering the whole time about Cass. What did he do? What did he do to, you know, make her this upset? But I feel like the memories were just strangely placed and they didn't really explain enough. Who is Alex? What did he do? Why is he relevant? I don't even think we got the story. She's just awkward around him because apparently she acted slutty like once and then she decided to be slutty from then on. This book confused me a lot. I feel like I'm talking a lot of trash on it. I'm not. Honestly, I'm confused in general. I need answers. Someone please answer these questions for me. I don't know. I'm genuinely confused. What? Hello? I need answers to this book because all it left was just a bunch of confusion in my head. I barely even talked about the plot in this book talk. I just talked about why I'm confused. Overall, this book, I think, okay, I don't hate it. I swear on my life, I do not hate this book. There are plenty of other books that I definitely hate way more than this book. I don't even hate this book, actually. I liked this book. There were a lot of things I liked about this book. I'm so confused by it that I can't say I genuinely liked it. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't like it because I was so confused the whole time, especially at the end. I did like the book. The plot was very cute. I think Cass is adorable. I think Gwen is just amazing with her brother. And I think Viv and Nick were a good couple and they shouldn't have broken up, but whatever. Like, obviously it was too good to last because it was 12 years or whatever. Like, you kind of saw it coming. I just wish it wasn't so confusing because I would have liked this book so much more if it wasn't confusing. Maybe I like accidentally skipped like a chapter or two, or maybe I was skipping pages. I don't really know. Can someone just please explain it to me? All the answers to my questions would be greatly appreciated. Overall, if I had to describe this book in one word, it would be confusing, but good. That's 3 words, but you can just take the first one or the 3. I don't really care. I wanted it to be so good and then it was just confusing. But no, okay, I don't really rate books out of 10 or 5 or anything because I'm really bad at that because I'm not good at expressing my opinion. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, I think. Honestly, don't listen to me on my ratings because I don't know what I'm doing. That was my book talk on this book that confused me so much. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again when I read another book. Hopefully it's not as confusing this time because honestly, my brain is exploding from so many questions. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time with another video.